After a good ride in first place, the Americans fell out of that spot, dropping 2 out of 3 to the Batavia Muck Dogs. However, the team will look to get back on track in a doubleheader against a team they've won against all season long. It's the Americans. It's the Ironbacks. The battle for the Falls continues in this edition of PGCBL Baseball, right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
They chose Niagara Falls because of the stadium. The history, the Falls.
To play. Oh, man.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby. Go,
Come
baby,
here,
go,
fence!
Baby.
That ball is way out of here.
Welcome into George Taylor Field for this game between the Americans and Ironbacks. It's going to be a doubleheader today here from George Taylor. First game at 1:05, the next one at 4:05. So lots of baseball to be played here, and we are starting any moment. So we will get you the Americans lineup in just a second here. My apologies for any technical difficulties here. Very hot day out, impacting the computer. But for the time being, we are going to try and push through here with a full broadcast. For now, we are going to pause for the national anthems in just a moment.
Fans, we are able, remove your caps and sing along if you'd like, as we honor both Canada and the United States. First, the national anthem of the United States will be played, followed by the singing of O Canada.
We welcome you back to George Taylor Field as we ready for the first pitch between the Americans and Ironbacks in this doubleheader. We will start by giving you the Niagara Falls Americans lineup. It's going to be Tommy Mathay leading off in center field. Grant Moore only going to play game 2 today. Ian Huang, the switch hitter, batting second. Derek Jesmondi in right field will bat third. Nick Pass doing the catching batting cleanup. Only catcher that traveled with the team today. Carmen Panaro at first for the first time this season. He'll bat fifth. Chris Cazaldo will play short and bat sixth. Then it'll be Logan Stickler, the DH, batting seventh. Alan Ramos over at third, batting eighth. Jack Satinoff, the extra hitter, bats ninth. And Liam Schott, just his third game as an American, in left field to round things out. And they will be facing Jack Kemp, the Ironbacks starting pitcher for today. Has a 7.71 ERA, 1-0 win-loss record, 10 strikeouts, a product of Brock University. So Kemp warming up with his catcher, Brock Granger. We'll have baseball in just a moment. We are back for baseball. Tommy Mathay going to lead things off for the Americans. Jack Kemp on the mound to face him. Mathay on the year has a batting average of 161 with a 458 OPS. Made an appearance here as a pitcher, but has not pitched since then, serving solely in the outfield. We'll see what Jack Kemp has in store for him right here. First pitch will be fouled off to the right side. Ends up more of a foul tip behind him for strike one. So one strike on Mathay. And Jack to keep this advantage in the count. The 0-1 will be just on the edge of the strike zone. It finds it for strike two. Outside edge, right over that righty batter's box. And Tommy Mathay with an 0-2 count, looking to climb out of this hole. Pitch from Kemp is fouled off behind Mathay. Sirens going off as they usually here at George Taylor Field. But Mathay still alive in this at-bat with 2 strikes. Product of Panola College, one of 2 Panola players in the Americans lineup for game 1. One of 3 on the team, the third being a pitcher, Hudson Boring. The 0-2 pitch from Kemp is going to be a ground ball right to the first baseman, Bedrosian. He will make the tag for out number 1. Unassisted ground out for Bryce Bedrosian. Is going to be Ian Huang. Huang, 311 batting average, 814 OPS. Been one of the better hitters for the Americans this year and one of the best in the game 1 order here. 9 RBIs on the year as well. Americans very short on bats, so They are going to be forced to use a lot of them in both games and use almost their entire bench. High chopper right in the hand of Bishop, sent to first base for out number 2. So 2 quick outs on these Americans by Jack Kemp and the Ironbacks. This might be the most shorthanded the Americans lineup has been all year. It's going to be an uphill battle to continue their long-standing success against the Ironbacks this season. Ironbacks have been gaining a lot of players to their roster. Americans very short on players today, but it's ball 1 to the batter, Gismondi. Handful of Americans have had to leave as the summer has progressed. Gismondi recently committed to Central Connecticut State, but sticking it out with these Americans the rest of the summer. Pitch from Kemp is away for ball 3. So Gismondi's a bat going a lot differently than the previous couple. Gismondi a frequent flyer on walks for these Americans. The pitch will go low at the feet of Gismondi. It's a 4-pitch walk by Jack Kemp. So Gismondi takes first base. And it'll be Nick Past to bat next. Past, the catcher for the Americans and cleanup hitter, has a runner on first with 2 down in the form of Gismondi, who just walked. And Nick Past spent his first 2 years at Eastern Florida State College, now looking for a new home for his junior year. Take ball 1. Kemp with the 1-0 count. Ranger taking second base on the wild pitch is Derek Gismondi. So 2-0 on the count as that pitch goes wild. Passed. With the count in his favor, looking to make it back-to-back walks. Gismondi already thinking about third, 5 steals on the year for him. And Nick Past gets whacked. So after 2 early outs, a walk and a hit batsman for Jack Kemp. It's runners on first and second with 2 down. And it's going to be a meeting on the mound as Carmen Panaro gets ready. Panaro hasn't hit in a while, but is certainly batting average .881 OPS on the year. Mathay and Huang retired early, but now the mound meeting. After 2 consecutive free bags for the Americans. Americans all season long have taken advantage of balls in the count. Very patient hitters. It's allowed them, when pitchers aren't at their best, to score lots of runs every single time. Bats have been a little bit cold of late, but trying to get back on track against these Ironbacks here. My apologies for the continued video lagging. Sun is things down, but the first pitch from Kemp will go outside to Carmen Panaro. Ball on the count with 2 ducks on the pond. Panaro tore up these Ironbacks the last time he hit against them. Looking to do the same here. Kemp delivers on the 1-0. It's another one at the feet of Panaro. And ever since those 2 early ground outs, has struggled to find his command to the strike zone. Jack Kemp. The 2-0 is going to be another one low and in. And another 3-0 count for these Americans. A walk would load the bases here, and there would be nowhere to put Chris Gazaldo. Gazaldo, a .338 hitter at that, if you're the Ironbacks. The 3-0 pitch will be ball 4. It was rather it hit him. So now the base is juiced, and Chris Gazaldo up next. Gazaldo, .338 hitters, .761 OPS, 9 RBIs on the year. A big RBI chance right here. Just one extra base hit this season, but even a single could score a couple. Jesmondi now on third base, passed on second, Panaro on first. All on free bags, and it is strike 1 on the new batter, Gazaldo. Granger back in position for the 0-1 pitch. Big cut and miss. And after 3 consecutive free bags allowed, Jack Kemp with the chance to end this inning right here. Away, this would be a huge strikeout for the Ironbacks. Americans have had trouble leaving guys on base all season long. That'll get in there for strike 3. That'll wrap up the inning. We'll be right back with the bottom of the first after the break.
Fans, if you've been to a game, you know that I give away pizza to a lucky fan in the middle of the 3rd inning. But what you might not know they've been operated since and originated the half tray of pizza. But if you're hungry at the game, you can stop by the concession stand and get a slice of Sammy's for yourself.
Back for the bottom of the first inning. We will give you a quick look at the Ironbacks lineup before we continue with this bottom of the first inning. My apologies for the continued technical difficulties here, but we will be underway with the bottom of the first in just a moment. Ironbacks lineup, it'll be Alex Keene leading things off in right field. .316 hitter out of Moorhead State. Devin Medor, the shortstop, bats second. Andrew Bishop playing second today, usually a first baseman. Marcus Butts, the DH, bats cleanup. Brock Granger doing the catching. Carter Shin, the extra hitter. Bryce Bedrosian at first. Chase Hubble in center field. Caden Wilson at third base. And Nolan Phelan to round things out in left. It'll be Joe Chaya pitching here, and that goes right back to him on Keene's at bat. Out number 1, right to Panaro at first. So it's 1 down early. Alex Keene, the batter, retired, and it'll be Medor and Bishop to follow him up in this inning. Devin Medor, the shortstop for the Ironbacks today. He's also seen some time in the outfield during the season. And Joe Chaya getting set to face him. Left on right matchup here. It's strike one down the pike from Chaya. Joe Chaya on. He is really on. So looking for the 1-2-3 right here. Upstairs and just outside the strike zone to make it ones across the board. Chaya delivers on the 1-1. It's a pop-up in foul territory. Pinaro chasing it down from first, but it'll go out of play. One and two on the count. Chaya looking for his second out on the punch-out. One strike away from that. Medora, a product of SUNY Niagara. Chaya, also from SUNY Niagara. So those guys facing off after college together. It's a high fly ball into right field, and it's caught in right field by Derek Gismondi for out number two. So the out number two does come for Joe Chaya, but not on strike three. Nonetheless, Andrew Bishop up next. Bishop on the year batting .234, 570 OPS. The outside for ball one. Americans had the bases loaded in the first inning, but Jack Kemp striking out Chris Gazaldo to end the inning. There'll be another one just on that outside edge of the strike zone to even things up. Chaya with the even count. It's going to be a fly ball into right center field. Mathay is there as well as Gismondi. He'll make the dive, but it drops. And now Andrew Bishop safe at first base. And now Gismondi is down in the outfield. This is not good for the Americans. Already short batters. Trainer's coming out to check on him. We hope he's okay. It's been a rough few days for the Americans. They're short batters. Lost a couple of the Muck Dogs, and now an early injury in this game. Will Cordero coming out to check on Derek. Bit of a miscommunication out in the outfield. It'll be ruled a single for Andrew Bishop. Was set to drop in the gap until the collision. Gismondi, awkward landing. We'll just hope he's all right. Out there to help him out. And Gismondi has gotten up. Seems to be all right. Gismondi, for the time being, going to hang in there. Got a little tight, but he will stay out in right field. And Marcus Butts will be up next. Butts, the DH today, also a catcher for this Ironbacks team, but Brock Granger behind the dish today. He passed the Americans' own catcher. Will have to catch both games with Paul Delanto away from the team for the next week or so. Chaya is off, and it's a grounder foul down the third base line for strike one. Marcus Butts, a big hitter. 311 on the year, 752 OPS. Chance to advance. Andrew Bishop with two down. Chaya Delivers this right down the pike for strike 2. So Joe Chaya 1 strike away from ending this first inning and keeping it scoreless. We'll see what he has in store right here for Marcus Butts. It'll be upstairs for ball 1, so strike 3 for now, gonna have to wait. Chaya count in his favor. Can he end it here? The 1-2 pitch is going to be a breaking ball and drops too low. Stays outside as well. It's 2-2. Just missed the strike zone on that outside corner. Across the board. It's upstairs. Count fills up, and Joe Chaya, suddenly an 0-2 count becomes a 3-2 count. Count is now full with 2 down. Big moment for the inning right here. It's an outside ball 4 now. 2 ducks on the pond for the Ironbacks. Brings up Brock Granger. Recently homered for this team. He's the second Ironback to have a home run this season. 233 on the year, 688 OPS. And Brock Granger will be up next. Granger, product of Panola College, so of his college teammates, Gazaldo at short, Matei in center. Familiar faces here for him. Always greeting each other before the games. That'll get in there on the high end for strike 1 from Joe Chaya. Chaya. Count is 0-1. It's going to be sharply hit foul down that first base. Finds himself with a 2-strike count once again. Looking to capitalize this time around after 4 balls in a row. Walked Butts. Butts is on first, Bishop on second. Brock Granger with the RBI chance. He has 4 on the year. What will Chaya do here? Checks back on Bishop, now delivers. That's going to be a pop-up down the first base line, foul, and it goes out of play. Joe Chaya returning to the bump after he thought he might have had out number 3 from Carmen Panaro. But still the 0-2 count this time around. It's going to be an upstairs ball 1, and at third base, Andrew Bishop going to be tagged out. He tried to steal. He will not get there in time. That's going to end the first inning. We will send it to the second after the break. back for the top of the second inning, and this second inning is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. There's that graphic. Continued technical difficulties here on the broadcast, but we are working to push through. Thank you so much, everyone who is still tuning in here on the Americans base. But the Americans back up to bat, and it will be Logan Stickler to start things off. Stickler batting 190 with a 499 OPS. This is his second straight day in the order. Played in Batavia last night. Takes strike one from Kemp. So strike on the count early to Stickler. Went hitless yesterday. Takes one inside for the ball to even things up. Ironbacks inning ended on a caught stealing. Granger will have a second at bat in the second inning as his at bat was cut short. Andrew Bishop tagged out at third. Big cut and miss by Stickler. On a nice pitch by Kemp, it's Logan. Logan Stickler exclusively a DH/EH this season. Has had some UCL problems. The 1-2 is going to be in there for strike three. Jack Kemp with a nice pitch on the corner to retire Stickler. Second consecutive strikeout by Kemp, and his command of the strike zone has improved greatly since the start of this game. See how the Americans can respond. Alan Ramos first. Jack Setinoff will also be due up in this inning. But Ramos looking at a couple different schools. Recently visited St. Peter's University. Just finished high school, and Kemp is going to meet with Granger on the mound after the early ball on Allen. And it'll be interesting to see how Kemp adjusts after that early ball to Ramos. Granger likely giving him some wisdom here. Here's Kemp with the 1-0 count on his batter Ramos. That'll drop in on the breaking ball for strike one. It's ones across the board. Americans looking for their first knock here in this second inning. Ramos with a little on base streak going. It's spanned 7 games, but now he has 2 strikes on this count. Americans had some strikeout problems to end yesterday's game. Luke Rising and Garrett Beaver combining to strike out 9 batters in the final 3 innings. There were some hits in between, but a big cut and miss by Ramos there. And Jack Kemp with a chance to strike outside as Jack Setinoff comes up, and he has been a frequent strikeout victim on this Americans roster. Setinoff on the season, one of the most frequent batters to strike out. Setinoff, the extra hitter, batting 118 on the year. Interestingly, his only hits have come on extra bases, a double and a triple. But it's 0-1 to him right now. Really a boom or bust type of hitter. Chance to boom right here against Kemp. That's going to be a hard liner into left field for the base hit. Jack Setinoff with his first single of the season, amazingly. So Setinoff on base for Liam Schott. Liam Schott with 2 down and 1 on, looking for his first hit as an American. Schott .500 on base percentage. Has been a very patient hitter, but still looking for that knock. And that's going to be a soft grounder this time to Bishop at second, and he misses it. Headed to third is Jack Satinoff. Will he get there in time? Yes, he will. And we'll see what the call is here. Hitter error. It'll go in as an error for the Ironbacks. So the Americans got their first hit off the bat of Satinoff, excuse me, but the error right there to allow shot to reach and Satinoff get the third. It's Tommy Mathey back up for the second time today. Grounded out first time up. And that's another grounder foul down the first base line for strike one. Satinoff looking to come home with 2 down. Jack Kemp looking to end this inning. Stranded some runners with 2 down in the first inning. Can he do it again? The 0-1 will drop low and away to even things up. One Tommy Mathey looking to get on for the first time in his second at bat. And drive in Satinoff. That'll get in there on the outside corner for strike 2. Just a little bit of an adjustment from Kemp, and it's enough for the strike. 1 strike away from his third strikeout of the inning. Didn't come consecutively, but would still be impressive for Jack Kemp. It would be his 4th of the day. The 1-2 pitch with runners on the corners will be low at the feet of Tommy Mathey to make it 2s across the board. Mathey, one of a few lefties in this Americans order. Opposite-handed matchup with the pitcher Kemp. Kemp up to 13 strikeouts on the year, looking for his 14th. But instead, it'll be a hard ground ball. The Bishop at second. It will be out number 3. No runs scoring. The Americans have left 5 runs on base. Not what you want to do. But tied at 0, headed into the bottom of the second. We'll be right back. Back for the bottom of the second, and this season at every Americans home game, you can get the latest gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, much, much more by Americans merch at the merchandise stand next to concessions every single home game. And as we come back, it's still scoreless. Joe Chaya, the left-hander, on the bump for the Americans. The only lefty available today, as E.J. Hurley went yesterday. And he will face Brock Granger for a second time after the first at-bat was cut short by the caught stealing.
Now batting the catcher, number 20, Brock Granger.
So Granger coming up. Technically, the second time will go in as his first at bat. And we have a defensive substitution. Grant Moore is going to be in center field. Tommy Mathay shifting over to right. Derek Gismondi leaving the game. So Gismondi no longer in the game, and number 25, Grant Moore, is now in center. The 1-0 pitch will get in there on the outside corner for strike one. So Moore will now be third in the order in place of Gismondi. Strange spot for him, but should work out. Breaking ball in there for strike two. Joe Chaya painting those corners against Brock Granger. Can he get a strikeout here? What would be his first of the day. Had a lot of two-strike counts, but looking to finish that job. Instead, it's a high fly ball into center field. Grant Moore chasing it down, as is the left fielder. Shot, and Shot gonna lose it. Headed into second is Brock Granger. And the sun having an impact today. We'll see what the ruling is here. But Joe Chaya returning to the hill with a runner on second. And it'll be Carter Shin batting next. Frequent leadoff hitter here for these Ironbacks rather, but today batting sixth. Joe Chaya, the 1-0 pitch to Shin is going to be fouled off to even up the count. Carter Shin, one of the better hitters in this Ironbacks order. 353 average, 86 OPS, leads the team in average. Connor Gatens has him beat in OPS, but Gatens going to be away from the team for the next week or so. One's on the count, and it will go in as the second hit of the day for the Ironbacks. That's going to get away from the catcher Pest. And we'll wait for the ruling here, but taking. And now Shin going to have to step back in with a second ball on the count. Will be a ball and a wild pitch. Chaya looking to climb back in this count. It's going to be a fly ball into right field, and that will drop foul just barely. Could have been an RBI knock for Shin, but count is even it. Still nobody out, and Granger close to home. The Ironbacks with the chance to strike first on these Americans. Americans' offense has struggled with runners left on base over the last few days. That's been the theme again here. 5 runners left on over the first 2 innings. Chaya, the 2-2 pitch, is going to be a high chopper over the head of Alan Ramos. Into the outfield for the base hit. Run scored. So the Ironbacks, the first to strike. And if they hold on to this lead, it would be their first win over the Americans all season long. Makes sense that it would come in the doubleheader. Very hard to sweep a twin bill, but who knows if the Americans will be able to get one. It's been a rough few days. Bryce Bedrosian up next with a runner on first. It'll get in there on the outside edge for strike 1. 3 hits for the Ironbacks to just 1 for the Americans off the bat of Satinoff. Outside, count is even. 2 consecutive hits to these Ironbacks. The 1-1 will get in there on the outside corner. Chaya, another 2-strike count. It's been blown 2 strike counts and runners left on base for these Americans. Got to change at least one of those trends to win this game. Here's the 1-2. Outside. Count will even back up. Joe Chaya just looking for a strike 3 sometime. The contact he's given up in this inning has just been too hard for his defense. 2-2 pitch. Looking ball to fill up this count. Chaya already had a 4 consecutive ball walk on an 0-2 count. Now another full count. Payoff pitch in just a moment to Bryce Bedrosian. Swing and a miss, and there it is. Joe Chaya gets his first strikeout of the game. Gets the monkey off his back, and now Chaya hoping to carry the momentum and keep it games, so these Americans finally have the chance to strike back and tie up this game. Chase Hubble in center field. He's the 8-hitter for these Ironbacks, batting .204 on the year, .552 OPS. First pitch will go right down the pike for strike 1. Hubble will not bite. Chaya a little less afraid to attack the zone against this bottom of the order. 0-1 pitch with Shin on first. Will be up the middle for another base hit. And Shin will hold up at second. 2 ducks on the pond with just 1 down for the Ironbacks. It's their 4th hit of the joining the party. Caden Wilson will be up next. Now another tough situation for Joe Chaya. Looking to avoid major damage in this bottom of the second. Jack Kemp done well for these Ironbacks so far, especially in clutch situations. First pitch from Chaya will go inside. Almost hits the batter, Wilson. 3rd baseman for the Ironbacks today. Kemp has thrown 35 pitches in 2 innings, so question is how long he'll be able to stay in the game for the Ironbacks. Pitch from Chaya will be just upstairs on a close call. Now a 2-0 count. Count has been ball friendly throughout the day. It's been hard to get these strikeouts. Jack Kemp somehow still has a trio of them. Chaya just got his first on Bedrosian. Gonna go upstairs for ball 3 now. Chaya looking to avoid the 4-pitch walk. He'll meet with Nick Pass to see how he can adjust here. Chaya, when he struggles, can start to spin out of control. Looking to avoid that right here. And here's the 3-0. Gonna be inside. Ball 4. To load up these bases, Joe Chaya just keeps getting tougher on him. And it'll be Nolan Phelan to round out this Ironbacks order and hopefully clear some, hopefully for their sake at least. One-0 pitch from Chaya. Will go outside again. Chaya looking to refine his control of the zone. Nowhere to put Nolan Phelan, but it's way inside, nearly Nick's Phelan. Walk here will knock in the run for the Ironbacks. Lead runner here is Brock Granger, or rather Carter Shin, my apologies, but Shin will come in to score. The Ironbacks now up 2-0 on these Americans. Bases still juiced and just one down. Chaya needs either a double play or a strikeout here if he really wants to avoid some serious damage. And it's back to the top of the order with Alex Keene. Chaya retired him the first time around, but Keene's a good hitter. Seeing Chaya the second time when he's been struggling like this could be an advantage. Left on left matchup, though. That's typically pitcher advantage. And that'll be a hard hit ball into left field. It's going to go foul for strike one. So 1 strike and 1 down with these bases juiced. It's now Nolan Phelan on. Caden Wilson has made his way to second and Chase Hubble on third. The final 3 hitters in the Ironbacks order, all on base, just 1 on a hit. Hubble getting on with the single. And it'll be a hard hit liner into center field. It's going back. Moore chasing it, and that ball is going to drop right at the wall. Alex Keene headed for third base. He is going to have a triple. 3-run score. The Ironbacks lead 5-0. My goodness, this has gotten out of control, and Joe Chaya, with the Americans short on pitchers, may not even be able to leave this game. Disaster has struck for these Americans in just the bottom of the second. They'll have to climb back, and the way they've been leaving runners on base, something's going to have to change. Alex Keene with a huge triple. Gets RBIs in bunches right there. And it is ball 1 to the 2-hitter, Devin Medor. Medor is 0 for 1 on the day. Alex Keene just got into double digits on RBIs, numbers 9, 10, and 11 for him. Bunt shown, but it'll get right in there for strike 2 as he is going to miss, or strike 1 rather, but going to miss his bat, and he is unable to pull back. 1's across the board from Chaya. It's going to be another fly ball, this time shallow center. Grant Moore coming in, and it'll drop in front of him. This sun has been brutal for the Americans today, and it's another hit. Runner on first now. The Ironbacks get their 6th run. Alex Keene scoring from third base. 6 hits, 6 runs. The Ironbacks, when they've scored runs of late, it's tended to come in bunches, but also have a tendency to give up a lot. We'll see if the Americans can drive some runs in for themselves. Andrew Bishop with the runner on first and 1 down. 6 runs have scored for these Ironbacks. Chaya still going and still struggling with this strike zone. And now a lot of hard contact over these last couple at bats. Outside edge, strike 1 for Joe Chaya. 1's across the board again. It's like Groundhog Day here for these Americans. The one thing that's changing is the run tally for the Ironbacks. Joe Chaya. It's going to be a liner into right field. Mathay coming in, and it's going to drop again. First and second. But now a tag at second base. Wow, a nice throw after the cutoff in the outfield. And it'll remain just a runner on first, and now 2 down. So a single and an out on the throw. 7 hits for the Ironbacks, but just a runner on first for them after the gun out at second base. Strike 1 on Marcus Butts now. Americans end up catching a bit of a break on what could have been a routine out anyways. Now taken off for second and in scoring position anyways is Andrew Bishop on the ball by Chaya to even up the count. Just one out needed for Chaya, but another runner in the scoring position would be run number 7 for the Ironbacks if they can score it. 1-1 pitch is going to be a ground ball right to Huang at second. The throw in time for out number 3, but that's going to be a rough one for the Americans. They gave up 6 runs with Joe Chaya on the bump. We'll see if he keeps going in the third, but for now, Ironbacks 6, Americans 0. We'll send it to the third inning after the break. Top of the third here at George Taylor Field. This third inning is brought to you by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, by Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. At every Americans home game, if the Americans score, you score. 3 runs equals a free McCafe Frappe for everyone in the stands. All thanks to McDonald's, and big day for McDonald's coming up in just 4 days when they bring back the snack wrap. Fans have been waiting, including myself. But the Ironbacks with a 6-0 lead. Jack Kemp looking to keep it that way here in this top of the third inning. And he will face Ian Wang, followed by Grant Moore, who came in for Gismondi, and then Nick passed. Ian Huang, for the second time today, he's 0 for 1. Ironbacks, as they pretty much batted around. The pitch will bounce in the dirt for ball 1. And the Ironbacks, yes, they have 6 runs on the board, but they gave up 16 yesterday, so they're going to need their pitching to hold up lead. The early ball on Huang here. See if Huang can capitalize, but it's going to be an outside edge strike 1 to Ian. Huang has not played in 3 days. Last time he did, a multi-hit game against the Muck Dogs, has torn up Batavia all season long. 6 hits in 2 games against them. The 1-1 pitch is going to be a similar spot from Kemp for strike 2. Side edge of the zone. Can he get his 4th strikeout with it? Swang, the switch hitter, batting from the left side to face Kemp. 2-strike pitch coming up from Kemp. And that'll be a breaking ball and drops low and away to even things up. Had a chance to get in there. It was a similar spot to the last 2, just a little bit further out. 2-2 pitch from Kemp. He delivers, and it's going to be a liner into... It is Grant Moore up to bat. the new center fielder for these Americans. He's typically in center field, was hoping to take game one off, but now with Gismondi injured, Grant Moore rising to the occasion.
John, this is Grant Moore in the hitting.
Grant Moore shows bunt. And early ball on the count. So 1-0. Grant Moore takes another one out there. Count in his favor early. 3 for 4 night in Batavia last night. After a couple of hitless games. Grant Moore gonna foul it off over that third base fence to make it 2-1. Moore leads the league in batting average at .440. Also leads in stolen bases if he can get on. And that's going to be a ground ball into right field. Guess pass. It'll be a base hit. 4th hit in 5 at-bats for Grant Moore over the last 2 days. Didn't even start this game and already making an impact with 1 down. Next up will be Nick Past. The cleanup man for the Americans has a runner on in the form of Moore. And Grant Moore looking to get into scoring position would be steal number 28 if he can take a base here. Past up next and pickoff attempt at first. That's not how you're going to get Grant Moore out if you've played this team enough. But Jack Kemp has only seen Moore a few times, mostly a reliever for these Ironbacks. Now the first pitch to Past will go inside. Moore takes off, and he will get into second base just in time. Steal number 28 for Grant on ball 1 to Past. Grant Moore now in scoring position. And I mean, he's taken third at times too. We'll see if he does here. One of the best base runners in all of the PGCBL. Could be an MVP campaign for Grant Moore. And it's going to be a hard grounder to Bishop at second. He throws to first, but it'll advance Moore into third base with 2 down. But the Americans are going to need a hit now from Carmen Panaro in order to knock in Grant Moore and avoid leaving a 6th runner on base in 3 innings. If the Americans had just knocked in all their runners on base, could be a tie game right now. Americans 0 for 4 with runners on, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position so far in the game. First pitch from Kemp will go outside for the ball to the batter, Panaro. Panaro making his debut at first base. He's done it all for this Americans team, whether it be pitching, playing outfield. The Niagara product very good. And the 1-0 will be popped up into the third base side foul territory. It will be dropped. And it's going to be a foul ball, so everyone's going to have to go back, but a nice break for the Americans. Grant Moore still with the chance to score. Count is now even on Panaro. Carmen on the day got hit by pitch his first time up, so 0 for 0. The 1-1 pitch will be outside to make it 2-1 in Panaro's favor. Carmen, one of a few left-handed hitters for the Americans today. Some of their most lefties in the order all season long. 5 if you count the switch hitter Ian Huang against Kemp. It's going to be an upstairs ball. And if Panaro can walk here to be runners on the corners for Chris Gazaldo, another big hitter for these Americans. Jack Kemp looking to avoid that and retire the third batter. It's a big cut and miss by Panaro to fill up this count. The Americans cannot leave another runner on base. If they want to climb back in this game, Not as much time as usual to come back. Only 7 innings in the doubleheaders. And it's already the top of the third. Payoff pitch will go outside to walk Pinaro, though. So runners on the corners. And Chris Gazaldo going to need to get on, or this will be runners left on base number 6 and 7 for the Americans. Not what you'd want to see. Gazaldo struck out with the bases juiced his first time up. That was back in the first inning at the mercy of Kemp. He was the first batter to strike out. Americans came looking. It'll go inside for ball 1 to Gazaldo. The chance to drive in Grant Moore. He's been waiting at third base. Stole second, advanced on a ground out. Ground out coming off the bat of Nick Past. Now Pinaro on first. It's an upstairs ball 2. A walk would load up these bases for Logan Stickler. And Stickler has been a little cold of late, but has some power on. A home run overturned against Batavia after he thought it was foul, but was a very nice knock by Stickler. Now 3-0. That pitch goes pretty far outside on the breaking ball. Kemp with the 3-0. That'll finally get in there for a strike on the count. Jack Kemp. Chris Gazaldo. Big moment. Chance to drive in Grant Moore and get into double-digit RBIs. It'll be a dribbler foul to fill things up. Chris Gazaldo struck out the last time he was in a similar situation. Can he redeem himself here? Expected to play in both games for the Americans today. Well deserved, but see what he can do here. Payoff pitch will go behind him, and that'll walk Chris Gazaldo. You cannot be throwing pitches behind the batter. Jack Kemp with a costly mistake. Thankfully, catcher Brock Granger picking up on it and avoiding the wild pitch. Graham Moore could have come home had that gone wild, but Stickler, the DH, with a big opportunity here. Jack Kemp with the opportunity to strand the bases loaded again. He did so in the first inning. It'll be a pop foul for Stickler to start things off. Strike 1. But the walk loading up the bases, and Kemp has nowhere to put Stickler. Moore would come in to score on any free bag. Here's the 0-1. It'll be another chop foul. Hard hit by Stickler. If he can get one of those going in fair territory, could be talking extra bases. Stickler. When he hits it hard. He's had a couple warning track flyouts in recent days. Also some extra base hits on the season. That's going to be a pop-up into left field foul territory. This time it'll be caught by Caden Wilson. And ends the inning. The Americans have left 8 runners on base. Unbelievable. We will send it to the bottom of the third after the break. Could not be winning games with all these runners left on. We'll be right back. Back for the bottom of the third. Before we kick off here, we'll give you a look at the PGCBL standings this season. 1 second to allow our graphic to load. My apologies for the continued technical difficulty. The broadcast. But the Americans fall into second place after losing 2 out of 3 of the Muck Dogs, tied with the Doubledays in that spot. Muck Dogs all alone in first. Tarpskunks in fourth at 16-10, held the final playoff spot right now, and a bit of a gap between them and the Pilots now in fifth at 12-11-1. Pioneers right behind the Pilots. Both of them still a shot at the playoffs, but on the outside looking in. Red Wings and Ironbacks in the basement, but the Ironbacks chance for their 4th win of the season here in this doubleheader. Joe Chaya has already struggled, and he's going to have to stay in the game as the Americans are short on arms. Chaya for his 3rd inning of work after a 6-run second inning. Looking around here in the 3rd and avoid further damage. Mercy rule in doubleheaders is 10 after 5 as opposed to 10 after 7. So the Ironbacks with a chance to force that. But Granger leading off a 2nd consecutive inning after the Ironbacks brought up all 10 batters in the 2nd. Every batter coming up at least once. Granger has technically been up to the plate on all 3 innings. A bat cut short by a caught stealing, and will go way outside on the breaking ball. Joe Chaya has continued to struggle with his command in this first start of his Americans career. Ironbacks have 6 runs, 7 hits on him. Been an unfortunate turn of events for Joe. The 2-1 pitch will go upstairs to make it 3-1. Chaya with the count against his favor finds the strike zone finally to fill things up. Another 2-strike count. Chaya has just 1 strikeout today. Game against Bryce Bedrosian. Can he get his 2nd against Brock Granger? Here's the payoff pitch. It's outside. Granger will walk. So Brock Granger, the latest free bag for these Ironbacks. Chaya walking his 4th batter of the day. Carter Shin up next. Batting .353 with an .886 OPS. And the Ironbacks have capitalized on a struggling Joe Chaya here. It's going to be a shallow fly ball into right field. Backing up is Ian Huang. He'll make the grab. Defense, the right moment there. It's out number 1 on these Ironbacks. Carter Shin retired on that. Alan Ramos up for the Americans when we're back in the top of the 4th. Bryce Bedrosian, the only strikeout victim of Chaya, up for the 2nd time today. It'll be strike 1 again on him. Came in batting .154, and the strikeout certainly not helping that, but it's 0-2 after another swing and miss. Bryce Bedrosian. Looking to avoid the strikeout here. It'll be an upstairs ball 1, so he stays alive. Not chasing that one. Was clearly outside the strike zone from Chaya. Chaya looking for strike 3, his 2nd of the day, and the check swing. He went on that one. Down goes Bryce Bedrosian. Takes a strike right down the pike. And it's 2 down. Bedrosian, the only strikeout victim of Joe Chaya today, but it's happened twice. Chase Hubble up next with a runner on and 2 down. Granger walked to start this inning, and he's still on first. It's ball 1 to Chase Hubble. Shin flying out into right field, and Bedrosian struck out. The 1-0 will drop low, and it gets away from Nick Pass. It'll be a wild pitch. Brock Granger takes second base with ease. On the count, Joe Chaya has another runner in scoring position, but this time 2 down for him. A little less pressure on the man. After 6 runs allowed in that second inning, every single one of them will be earned. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Chase Hubble singled his first time up. Chance for the RBI here. He's yet to have one of those today. 3 of these RBIs for the Ironbacks were on the triple from Alex Keene. 3-1 count to Hubble. Phelan, Medor, and Shin, the other RBIs in this game. Americans still without a run in game 1 of the Twin Bill. It's a fly ball into right field foul territory. No one will get there. It goes out of play. Count is full for Joe Chaya. Can he get another strikeout after punching out Bedrosian for the second time today? Hubble looking to get on for a second consecutive at bat. Has a runner in scoring position. Chaya checks on him. Now delivers. Ducks on the pond for Caden Wilson. Wilson walked last time up, came around to score. Patience going to be the key for Wilson here. 0.43 batting average on the year, but he's found ways to get on base throughout the year, including today. Bit of a struggle for him at third. Dropped a pop-up foul, but redeemed himself by catching another. Check swing, but it'll get in there anyways for strike 1. Chaya, early strike on the count, but that goes upstairs to even it. A walk here would juice up the bases for Nolan Phelan. And last time Phelan was up, walked in a run. Chaya hoping to avoid the repeat of the second inning. It's a swing and miss for strike 2. Count back in Chaya's favor. Needs a third out badly here. Cannot afford any more damage. Will be cut on to miss. Strike 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning and 3 on the day by Joe Chaya. Certainly bringing the swing and miss stuff, but 6 runs allowed in between. We'll be right back with the top of the 4th after the break. Back in for the top of the fourth inning. Baseball Network. Ironbacks lead 6-0 after a 6-run second for Niagara, Canada. This fourth inning is brought to you. My apologies. Hang on 1 second here for that sponsor scroll to load. But this top of the fourth, sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, as well as Johnny Ryan and Coca-Cola. Strike one on Allen. Order due up here for the Americans. It'll be Ramos, followed up by Setinoff and Schott. Ramos and Schott, both rising freshmen. Big cut and miss. It's 0-2. Ramos deciding between a couple of schools. Originally committed to Wagner, now changing his commitment. 0-2 pitch here will be a grounder right to the shortstop, Mador. Sent to first. No, not in time. Alan Ramos will be safe at first base. Gets the infield single.
Number 14, Jack Satnoff.
Ramos an 8-game on-base streak now, and Jack Satinoff up next. Alan Ramos, bit of a slow start to the season, but he's been a very solid presence at the plate in recent days for these Americans. His numbers continuing to improve as time passes. Liam Schott on deck and Satinoff up first. It's a foul tip for strike one. Jack Satinoff 1 for 1 today. The single was his first single of the season, but don't let that deceive you. He's had a couple extra base knocks as well. Count here though. Satinoff has Ramos on first. Ramos, a speed demon with a chance to steal. Upstairs for ball one. And Ramos hasn't had a lot of chances to take bases, but managed to tie Grant Moore in a race. And Grant Moore, as you all know, has 28 steals. So Ramos, some high upside on the base paths. One's on the count to Satinoff. Pitch from Kemp will go outside to Satinoff. It's 2-1. Alan Ramos also getting a little bit unlucky with potential steals, running on pitches that end up going foul. Possible he'd have a lot more if things went a different way in some games this season, but that'll drop in for strike two on Jack at his feet. A low inside strike to make the count even with nobody out. And Ramos on first. Kemp delivers on the 2-2 as Ramos takes off. And he will take second base on the steal. Count is full. Alan Ramos with his second steal of the year. Rather his third. So he's getting those steal numbers up. Third on the team is Gismondi with 5. Ramos chasing that. Next up would be Core with 11. That'll get in there. Rather go outside for ball 4. Satinoff takes first base, so 2 ducks on the pond now for Liam Schott.
Now back fielder, number 27, Liam Jack.
Americans have 3 hits, have had plenty more on base. Jack Kemp giving up 4 walks, hitting a batter. But the Americans have kept leaving runners on base. We're going to buck that trend here in the 4th. Down the pike for strike 1 from Jack Kemp. Kemp 3 strikeouts, but 5 walks today. Or rather 4, excuse me. 0-1 from Kemp. Check swing. It'll be a strike anyways. 0-2 from Kempes. Ramos has a lead on second now. Game of chicken there. He'll go outside for ball one. Shot with the 1-2 count. Looking to climb out of what was once an 0-2 hole. Ramos with a big lead on second. Satinoff a lead of his own at first. Chance for the double steal, but a timeout first. Liam Schott taking time. 0 for 1 on the day. 2 strikes on him here. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Jack Kemp with his 4th strikeout of the day. Climbs back ahead of Joe Chaya in that metric, but Tommy Mathay with 1 down and 2 on to make it the 3rd time through this Americans order. Amazing, the Americans have gone 3 times through without scoring a run. We're going to change that here with Ramos in scoring position, and boy, can he run. Gets in there on the outside edge for strike 1. Mathay with a high chopper right into the glove of the first baseman Bedrosian. Out at second, but not in time for the out at first. Ramos heading into third base. And corners with 2 down for Ian Huang. Huang another RBI chance, but the Americans have already left 8 runners on base, and if Huang is retired here, they'll leave 2 more. The way that the Americans could have 10 runs if they just knocked them all in. But instead, it's a 6-0 lead for the Ironbacks. Joe Chaya struggling, but normally the Americans looking to heat back up here and capitalize on their runners in scoring position. The 1-0 count to Huang. Ramos at third in scoring position, but it's on first base, Tommy Mathay taking the spot of Liam Schott. Or rather, Satinoff. But it's going to be 2 early balls on the count. A walk here would load the bases for Grant Moore. Moore leading the league in batting average. That's not a guy you want to mess with. 2-0 pitch. Upstairs again. Kemp could be in trouble. 2 down. And some balls on the count. Without a strike to Ian Huang. Here's a pitch. Gets in there for strike 1 on the low inside corner. Kemp still alive in this at-bat after the early 3-ball count. Huang, no green light with the 3-0. See if he swings here now that there's a strike on the count. It'll get in there for strike 2, and taking second base is Tommy Mathay. 2 runners, and Huang with either the chance to drive him in with a hit or get on to load him. Three balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Big payoff pitch in a moment here from Jack Kempkin. Strand 2 more Americans runners in scoring position. And it is going to be strike 3. Ian goes down looking. The Americans have stranded 10 runners on base. Unbelievable. We'll send it to the bottom of the 4th. Bottom of the fourth here from George Taylor Field. Americans stranding two in scoring position again in that top of the fourth. It's strike one here on the batter. Phelan, Joe Chaya beginning to look better early struggles, excuse me. 1-1 on the count. One ball and one strike for Chaya. It's going to be up the middle, and it will be picked up by Gazaldo, but bobbled. Getting into first anyways on what could have been an up the middle single is the batter Phelan. 8th hit of the day for the Ironbacks, and Chaya lets another base runner on. It'll be back to the top of the order. Alex Keene leading things off again. Grant Moore will be due up, but the Americans have a lot of ground to make up. And it starts with Chaya getting some outs here. He finds the outside corner of the zone for strike one. Chaya with a strike on the count early. It'll be a pop-up into left field, foul territory. Goes out of play. Joe Chaya, a strike away from out number one here. Every out counts for Joe Chaya. After 6 runs have already been allowed, Chaya toughing it out for some more innings. Americans don't have much to lose at the moment. And Chaya has began to settle in after the 6-run explosion, and now headed to third base on a wild out. Nolan Phelan decided to run 2 bases on a wild pitch, and that turned out to be a mistake. A ball and 2 strikes with now 1 down for Alex Keene. One and 2. Alex Keene. Takes the 1-2 and swings and misses. Strike 3 on Keene. He's sent packing for Chaya's 4th strikeout. Ties back up in that department with Jack Kemp. Both these pitchers staying in the game in what right now is a shutout lead for the Ironbacks. Devin Medor up next, batting for the 3rd time today. He's 1 for 2. Keene struck out for out number 2, and it'll be strike 1 on the breaking ball, inside corner. The runner caught stealing, going to help him out as well. Nick passed, gunning him out. 1-1 on the count. Devin Medor came in 209, has a hit today. Drops low and inside on the corner of the strike zone. Joe Chaya is 1 strike away from getting out of this inning unscathed. Chaya, it would be his 2nd consecutive scoreless inning after a 6-run second, where all the runs have come in this game. It'll be a soft grounder. Picked up by Ramos at 3rd. The throw will be over the head of Pinari. He has to jump, and he ends up off the bag. Runner is safe at first base. We'll wait for the ruling. Hitter error. It's going to go in as an error for the Americans. And now it's going to be another ground, or rather, stolen base attempt. And safe at second now, as the call has been overturned to a hit. And a stolen base for Medor. He's 2 for 3. And it's Andrew Bishop up now. Ironbacks with 8 hits. Time throws a little offline, and now into second is the new base runner, Andrew Bishop. 9th hit of the day for the Ironbacks. And it is now going to be 7-0 Niagara. Chaya giving up his first run since the second inning. Single and advance on the throw for Andrew Bishop. Marcus Butts, the DH, will be up next. With the runner in scoring position, Ironbacks have capitalized on their runners in scoring position. Unlike the Ironbacks are 4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Americans 0 for 7. That is the difference maker for Niagara, Canada today. 1-0 count here on Butts. Next pitch from Chaya is going to be a liner into left field. Will drop fair, and it's going to be extra bases. Marcus Butts headed into second. And now he will stop there as another run scores, a stable by Marcus Butts to make it 8-0. Joe Chaya really unraveling here. And the Ironbacks, if they score a couple more runs, chance to win this game by mercy. Anything can happen here in the PGCBL, and that has been made clear by the Ironbacks here. Haven't won against the Americans all season, and now they lead by 8. This Americans team, to be fair, has been cold of late, but first pitch from Chaya is going to hit Brock Granger. Granger takes first base. It's 2 on and 2 out for Carter Shin. The Ironbacks, a big opportunity here. Shin today, he is 1 for 2 with an RBI. Joe Chaya is going to be sent up the middle for another base hit. Runners holding at all bases. Bases are juiced. Carter Shin gets a single, and Bryce Bedrosian up next. The Ironbacks have 11 knocks today. Bryce Bedrosian has struck out twice today. Chaya strike him out again to end this inning with the bases juiced. Would be a change for the Ironbacks to leave runners in scoring position. They are now 6 of 8 with runners in those spots. It's strike 1 to Bryce Bedrosian, the lefty. Left-on-left matchup has played to the advantage of Chaya all day long, especially against Bedrosian. Bases all filled up. A 1 pitch outside, out. Ironbacks have the mercy rule run on second base, would still need a clean 5th inning, but a swing and miss for Bedrosian puts Chaya 1 strike away from ending it right here and giving the Americans some more wiggle room headed into this 5th inning. At this point, the Americans might want to get this one over with and then get him in the next. See what happens. Another cut and miss will be strike 3. Joe Chaya with his 5th strikeout of the day. The Americans still down 8, though. We'll send it to the 5th after the break.
coolest hangout with a fresh vibe, fast, friendly service, and the
Top of the fifth from George Taylor Field. The Ironbacks now lead 8-0 over the Americans. Grant Moore will lead off this inning, though. It's a comfortable spot for him, typically. The leadoff hitter in the order as a whole today, coming in as a defensive sub. Mathey moved over to right field to replace the injured Derek Jesmondi, and Grant Moore took over in center. The Ironbacks brought up 8 batters in that last inning. Bryce Bedrosian striking out for the 3rd time today to end the inning. Looking to avoid the golden sombrero in this game, but that's been the least of the Ironbacks' worries here. Or rather, the only of them. My apologies. But the Ironbacks have led 8-0 despite Bedrosian's struggles. Grant Moore to lead things off for the Americans will be followed by Nick Past and Carmen Panaro in this top of the 5th. Gotta score here if you want to give some cushion to Joe Chaya and avoid the mercy loss. It's ball 1, or rather strike 1. Grant Moore on the day, 1 for 1. Takes a strike to put him in an 0-2 hole here. Will Kemp complete the job right here with nobody out? 0-2 pitch is way outside on the breaking ball. Broke even further out. It's 1-2. Grant Moore has a way of battling 2 strike counts. Batavia managed to have his number those first 2 days of the series, and then he went 3 for 4 in day 3 of the series. 1-2 pitch. Fly ball in left field foul territory. Backing up is Caden Wilson. It'll drop in front of him. Wilson not fast enough for that, and it's 1-2 on the count. Jack Kemp in for his 5th inning of work. The pitcher pop up into left field foul territory. Wilson is under this one. He'll make the grab. Caden Wilson redeeming himself after the dropped foul ball. And it's out number 1. So Moore retired for the first time today. Nick Past up next.
now batting catcher number 20, Nick Past.
past. One of the last hopes for these Americans today. We'll take a ball low. Kemp has the 1-0 count. It's upstairs. Passed with a hitter's count, looking to take advantage. Nick Past is 0 for 1. .2-0 pitch will go way inside, nearly hits past elbow. Jack Kemp with some fast pitches, but looking to refine that control of the strikes. Has done a good job avoiding 4-pitch walks today, but has still managed to walk a handful of batters. Strike 1 now on Past. Kemp has walked 4, looking to avoid walk number 5. The 3-1 will go inside, and Past gonna have ball 4, take the walk. It'll be Carmen Panaro with 1 on and 1 out. Panaro gonna send that up the middle, and it'll drop into the glove of Devin Medora for out number 2. Chris Gazzaldo up next. Just the sole base runner on. Nick Pass walked in 5 pitches. Grant Moore, an unusual spot as the 3-hitter, retired for the first time today after a hit his first time up. Gazzaldo 0 for 1 with a walk. Swings and misses on strike 1. Walk and a strikeout. Still looking for his first contact of the day in fair territory. 0-1 pitch from Kemp. We'll go outside, even things up. Nick Past on first base. Was thinking about second, but not necessarily known for stealing bases the way some of these Americans' outfielders are. Past games for Niagara Falls today. Only catcher that traveled with the team. The 1-1. Big cut and miss by Gazzaldo for strike 2. Evan Core also has caught in the past, but sticking to the outfield for this Americans team. He will play outfield in game 2 after sitting out game 1. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Gazzaldo strikes out again. It ends the inning. Ironbacks up 8-0 with the chance to win in the ball. Be right back. See if it happens. Back for the bottom of the 5th. The Americans with a call to the bullpen, bringing in Carter Hall after 4 innings of Joe Chaya. Looking to keep the Americans in this game a couple more innings. This 5th inning is brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. And don't forget to follow the Americans on all their social media pages. We'll get those on your screen in just a second here. Here it is. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you name it. Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun keeping that up and running all season long. Big shout out to our social media managers. That'll be Chase Hubble to kick things off for the bottom of the Ironbacks order. He'll be followed up by Caden Wilson and Nolan Phelan. As the Ironbacks look to close this out right here. 2 runs, and they win by mercy in game 1 of the doubleheader. And Carter Hall, this is going to be his first appearance in a while for these Americans. Hall last appeared against the Auburn Double Days June 12th. Went 1 1/3, had some arm soreness after. Glad to see that he's healthy and good to go as one of just a few pitchers that travel with these Americans today. Chase Hubble will bat first to face Hall. Carter Hall on the year, a 1-0 record, 16.20 ERA and a strikeout. Those struggles early, in part due to his arm issues. So looking a rebound right here. See how the Niagara product looks against these Ironbacks. First pitch will go right down the pike for strike 1. Carter Hall had some time playing in the field for the Niagara Purple Eagles, but solely a pitch these Americans, and that curveball will force ball 1 on Chase Hubble. Hubble is 1 for 2 today. The 1-1 pitch will go outside for another ball. Carter Hall had the early strike. Now the count in Hubble's favor. Hubble 1 for 1 rather, walked his other time up. Carter Hall looking for his first batter retired of the month of July. The 2-1 pitch will go outside. Count is now well in the favor of Hubble. Looking to get on base for the 3rd time today and bring up Caden Wilson, who's 0 for 1 with a walk of his own. Hall came in to relieve Joe Chai, who gave up 8 runs. Ball 4 in 5 pitches. Hall had and then 4 consecutive balls to walk the batter Hubble for the 2nd time today. It's Hall's first walk. Chaya walking him the other time. But the Ironbacks looking to win it right here. The game-winning run is at the plate. Caden Wilson takes the ball outside. Carter Hall going to need to refine his command of the strike zone to save this game. Hall checks on first base. No success in that pickoff attempt. Chase Hubble sliding back in time. Americans gave up 6 of their runs in the bottom of the 2nd. Just 2 since then, both in the bottom of the 4th at the mercy of Joe Chaya. All 8 runs were earned for Chaya. It's a low ball 1 from Hall. Runner on first is Chase Hubble. He's there for the 3rd time today, a single and 2 walks. It's a hard grounder right to Panaro at first. Out at second. And now the base runner running into the shortstop, Gazaldo. We'll see what happens here. No interference. Caden Wilson taking Chase Hubble's spot at first base. So 1 down, and Nolan Phelan up. The new game-winning run represented at the plate for the Ironbacks. Carter Hall has now retired 1 batter. Liner right down the third base line, throws foul. Nolan Phelan. Has an early strike here. But Carter Hall, when balls come, they come in groups for him. See if that trend continues or if he can get some more strikes. Instead, it goes behind the batter. Gets away from past and taking base is Caden Wilson. So the out of second not even mattering for these Americans. Second base taken anyways, it's ones across the board. Wilson in scoring position for Nolan Phelan. Phelan today has gone 1 for 1 with a walk. See if he can get on again here. It's a hard line drive into left field, goes foul. That was a rocket. Strike 2 for Carter Hall. Ironbacks with 11 hits to the Americans, 3, 8 runs to the Americans, 0. Hall gets set for the 1-2. Wilson on second, he checks on him now, delivers, and it is going to whack Phelan. After a pitch behind the batter earlier this at bat, a hit by pitch will put him on first. And it's 2 on, 1 out for Carter Hall. As it's back to the top of the order for the 4th time for these Ironbacks, Alex Keene. And now that game-winning run on first base, the Ironbacks can close it out in walk-off fashion right here by mercy rule. Alex Keene already would win the game. A double with the chance to win the game. Foul ball for strike 1, though. All Keene has to do is drive in these runners, and this one is over. It'll be game 2 from George Taylor. Game 2 will follow about an hour after this one, right here on the Americans. Pitch from Hall. The 0-1 is sent foul again. That's a nice break for Hall. 2 strikes on the count. Can he finish it and get the strikeout right here? Alex Keene has already struck out once today. Came after his triple. He's 1 for 3, 3 RBIs. Strikeout came swinging against Joe Chaya. Here's the 0-2. Another one out. Puts a ball on the count. Carter Hall has had a lot of counts in his favor early, but they've ended up swinging back in the favor of these Ironbacks. Hence the 2 base runners. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Carter Hall gets his first strikeout. Comes against Alex Keene, who's been a little bit all or nothing today. 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts and a triple. Devin Medor will bat next. Medor is having himself a day, 2 for 3. It'll be a pop-up foul. Goes over everything for strike 1. Some umbrellas out on the field in this heat. Temp is over 80 degrees. In fact, it is 90. Carter Hall with a strike on the count will check on his base runners. They run back. It's Wilson on second, Phelan on first. Phelan representing the game-winning run. Devin Medor, the chance to drive him in with a strike on the count. Pitch from Hall will get in there on the low edge for strike 2. Carter Hall suddenly 1 strike away from ending this inning. Looked like he was going to give the mercy win to these Ironbacks, but instead a strike away. Still a chance the Ironbacks can win it here, but Carter Hall looking to prevent that with the 2-strike count. Checks on his runner. Now here's the pitch. And that'll be in there for strike 3. Carter Hall strikes out another batter. We'll send it to the top of the 6th. The Americans to win this game when we're back. A brand new pitcher for the Ironbacks, Max Rutherford, making his Ironbacks debut with Logan Stickler up first for the Americans. Stickler takes strike 1 down the pipe. And he will be followed up by Alan Ramos and Janoff. Rutherford relieving Jack Kemp after 5 innings of work. They'll even up the count at 1s. Logan Stickler looking for his first knock. An outside ball 2 on Logan. Stickler 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That strikeout came looking. The 2-1 pitch is going to be a pop-up. Goes foul. Count is even. And this 6th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robbins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. That'll be strike 3 on Logan Stickler. He's going to run it out as the strike gets dropped. But no, it'll be the out at first base. to complete the K for Max Rutherford.
Now batting, third baseman, number 4,
Alan Ramos up next. Ramos is 1 for 2 today with a strikeout of his own. Max Rutherford with a strikeout in his first batter faced as an Ironback. Here's Ramos. It's a low ball, 1. Rutherford facing Ramos for the first time. It's the third time he's up today, though. The rising freshman looking for a new commitment. 2-0 count. Little 8-game on base streak should help Ramos to find a home for his freshman year. Gets in there on the outside corner for strike 1. Ramos looking to make it a 2-hit game with the count in his favor. Rutherford delivers on the 2-1. It bounces in the dirt. And Rutherford. Count is fouled off by Ramos. Count is now all filled up on Alan Ramos. Max Rutherford, his first full count as an Ironback. Looking to retire a second consecutive batter. Here's the payoff pitch. Will be fouled off. That's 1 down. With the count still full, Alan Ramos battling back and forth with Rutherford. First time as an Ironback. Here's another payoff pitch. It'll drop low for ball 4. Alan Ramos walks for the first time today. The runner on first is Jack Satinoff. Comes up for the third time today. 1 for 1, single and a walk. We're going to advance Ramos with 1 down. Americans need to put some runs on the board. They've had plenty on the base paths. Just need to score them. The check to Ramos at first base, and now a high fly ball into center field. It's caught by Chase Hubble for out number 2. Liam Schott to round out this Americans order. Alan Ramos, the sole base runner thus far. He walked. Will Cordero keeping it cool, down 8 runs. Coach in third base per usual. Cordero, not a man of many words. Talks when he needs to talk. That's about it. Big contrast from the other Americans manager, Paul Wolf, a big talker. Not here today, though. The 1-0 count. We have a big cut and miss by Liam Schott to even up the count. Schott today is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Looks to avoid another. 1-1 pitch from Rutherford after he checks again on first base, and this time it gets away from the first baseman. Bedrosian Alan Ramos will hit into second with ease. Ramos in scoring position for the batter. And Allen was hesitant to go to second at first, but he was like, you know what? That's so far away. I'll take it. Allen Ramos showing off his speed here at the Ironbacks. It's been one of the highlights for the Americans today. For the Ironbacks and none for the Americans. They've left a ton on base. Here's the 1-1. Upstairs and away to put the count in Shots' favor. William, a commit to Corning Community College, looking for his first hit as an American. The 2-1 pitch. Again, drops low. A lot of balls being thrown by Rutherford after some early success in this inning. Chase, or rather, Williams shot with a 3-1 count. Upstairs, ball 4. It's 2 on for the Americans, and now it's back to the top of the order with Tommy Mathay, who's going to look to finally drive in a run for these Americans. We'll pause real quick for the meeting on the mound. We bring you back after the meeting on the mound. It's 2 down, 2 on for Tommy Mathay. In there for strike 1 on the low edge. Mathay having an 0 for 3 day so far. The Americans have left a lot of runners on base. Looking to change that here, but a timeout first. 0-1 count on Tommy. Chance to turn things around for the Americans. A 1 pitch. Gets in there on the outside. And Max Rutherford 1 strike away against Mathay. Tommy Mathay looking for his first hit of the day. That's going to be a line drive right to the second baseman. Andrew Bishop makes the grab. That's the end of the inning. The Americans leaving more runners on base. Unbelievable. The Ironbacks going to have another shot to walk this off in the bottom of the 6th. We'll be right back. here on the Americans Baseball Network. The Americans down 8-0 in this game. It'll be Andrew Bishop to kick things off for the Ironbacks in this bottom of the 6th. Chance to win with Carter Hall still pitching. Your technical difficulties, been very hot out here. Computer's been having some overheating problems, but we're trying to cool things down and keep this broadcast up and running. Up in this inning by Marcus Butts and Brock Granger. It's the heart of the order for these Ironbacks. A big chance to strike. Pitch from Hall. Get in there on the outside corner. Strike one to start things off in this bottom of the 6th. Bishop on the day is 2 for 3. Heating up after a slow start to the season. It goes in the dirt. That's too low. It's 1-1. Hall was attempting to paint the corner. Just goes a little bit away from where he wanted it. Carter Hall, the 1-1 pitch. It's going to be a fly ball into left field. Foul. Two strikes. Number 1 on these Ironbacks in the bottom of the 6th. Ironbacks can win in this inning if they score the 9th, if they hold on to their lead at all. Outside to even up this count. This doubleheader is going just 7 innings. Mercy rule is available in doubleheader games. The Americans have unraveled today. It's a foul ball to keep Bishop alive. Carter Hall with the count even on Bishop. Here's the pitch. It's going to be another fly ball into left field foul territory. Ramos chasing it down. It goes out of play. Carter Hall has been 1 strike away for a good bit here. Andrew Bishop is already has 2 hits. Can he get a third or just get on base? Americans pitching staff decimated. The 2-2 pitch. There's going to be a line drive into right field. A rocket goes foul. Andrew Bishop with a few consecutive foul balls now off of Carter Hall. But a very hard hit ball by Andrew Bishop. Two-two pitch. Is going to be a liner into left center. And coming in to make the grab is Liam Schott. Out number 1 on these Ironbacks. Takes a while to retire Bishop, but Carter Hall will force the fly out. So it's 1 down.
Number 15, Marcus Butts.
Marcus Butts up next. Carter Hall looking to get out of this inning clean, but it's an inside ball 1 to kick things off against Butts. Butts 1 for 2. An RBI. Pitch gonna get in there to put 1s across the board for Carter Hall. Butts has walked once today. It's a high chopper into the glove of Ramos. Sent to first base in time for out number 2. Alan Ramos at third base, and it's 2 down early on these Ironbacks. But they still have an 8-0 lead, so the Americans will be in desperation times come top of the 7th inning if they can get out of this clean. Still have to avoid allowing 2 runs in this inning, but Brock Granger up with 2 down and nobody on. Granger, the final hitter who is due up in this inning. Can the Americans send the Ironbacks down 1-2-3? It's outside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss evens things up. 2 down, nobody on. Granger is 1 for 1 with a double and a walk. Two down, even in the count. It's outside for another ball. The only strike in this at-bat has come swinging. And the count is still in the favor of Brock Granger, the lefty. Opposite-handed matchup, and it's another outside ball. 3-1 count. Carter Hall looking to avoid walking Granger for the second time today. Chase Hubble already has 2 walks for these Ironbacks. Would make Granger the second Ironback today with a pair of free bags. Instead, it's a ground ball to Huang at second. Panaro coming in from first, and now Hall gonna cover, but not in time. Safe at first is Brock Granger. Carter Shin up next.
Number 5, Carter Shin.
Carter versus Carter. Hall versus Shin. The extra hitter. We'll wait for the call on that play. Carter looks back now, delivers to Shin. It's a foul ball down the first baseline, but goes out of play for strike 1. Ironbacks with their 12th hit. Committed 2 errors today to the Americans 0, but the Americans just keep leaving guys on base. And they're out hitting the Americans 12-3. It's strike 2 on the batter. Carter Hall 1 strike away after letting Granger on. Was unable to cover first base in time on the throw from Panaro, who came in from first base to cover for Huang. 0-2 pitch. Is going to be a liner into right field. Going to make the grab with ease for out number 3. Ironbacks send just 4 batters up and still lead 8-0 as we head to the top of the 7th. Carter Hall with a scoreless frame to help the Americans with a fighting chance to win this game. We'll be right back with the top of the inning. Top of the 7th with some defensive substitutions. Kakaru Tsukamoto taking over at second base. Andrew Bishop takes over at first for Bryce Bedrosian. And it'll still be Max Rutherford pitching to face Ian Wang, as well as Grant Moore and Nick Past in this seventh inning here on the Americans Baseball Network. Is brought to you by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino. More comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. That's SenecaNiagaraCasino.com. I've had the chance to check out the venue a couple times. Pretty nice place. Lounge, dining, and of course the slots. You get a free $10 slot play with every Americans ticket. You can come into games. It's a chance to win all your money back. Ian Huang 0 for 3 today, looking for his first knock after a 2-hit game the last time. Rutherford has held the shutout so far for the Ironbacks. Looking to complete it, and here in Niagara, if Max Rutherford serves up a donut, it's going to be free donuts for some lucky fans here in the stands, but it's 0-2 to Ian Huang. A slow day for him compared to his Thursday in Batavia, looking to buck that trend on the 0-2 pitch. Outside for ball 1, so Huang's still alive here with Grant Moore on deck. Would be wise to get on base for Grant for 2. And one of the biggest hitters in the league. 1-2 pitch will go inside this time, so suddenly the count is even. Trend continuing. And complete the strikeout right here. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Wang. 0-2 count. Rutherford. The 2-2. Will be lined into right field, and chasing it down is Alex Keene. He'll make the grab for out number 1. Wang with some nice contact there, but it's not enough for the hit. Next up is Grant Moore. Grant Moore. He's gone 1 for 2 today. Came in as a defensive sub for Derek Gismondi. Came in center, Gismondi, who was in right, replaced by Mathey, the original center fielder. It's ball 1 on Grant. Merrick had some nice knocks, but just keep leaving runners on base. Be fouled off to make it 1s across the board. The Americans still yet to have a hit with runners in scoring position today. 0 for 8. Also 0 for 12 with runners on. Some walks, but no hits. Unless the bases have been empty. Moore takes a close shave to put the count in his favor. Ironbacks, on the contrary, 6 for 11 with runners in scoring position. 7 for 18 with runners on. 12 total hits on the day. The 2-1 to Moore. Upstairs for ball 3. And interestingly, both teams well over 100 pitches each, despite the 7-inning ball game here at George Taylor. Grant Moore. But the count in his favor. Can he walk and get on for the second time today? It would be basically a free double for the speedster. And it indeed will be a walk of Moore. Nick Past will come up looking to drive in Grant Moore, who, yes, is on first base right now, but with steal number 29 can get to second. Has averaged over a steal per game as an American, on pace for 50 steals. Playing one game of this doubleheader. Now appears lined up to play both. The 0-1 Rutherford is going to be a pop-up into the shallow infield. Bishop in the middle of the infield will drop it. Grant Moore taking off for second. The out there, but taking his spot at first is Nick Past. So 2 down anyways. Kind of a wash on that play. I mean, the benefit for the Ironbacks is a runner on first base now as opposed to the speedster Grant Moore. So less likelihood that Pass will get in scoring position. But Carmen Panaro has some pop. We'll see if he can advance past. 0 for 1 with a walk. Inside for ball 1. Count in the favor of Panaro early. Pitch will be getting away from Brock Granger as Pass will take second. So even though it's not Grant Moore on first base, the free base anyways. 2-0 count. Nick Past in scoring position. Max Rutherford got to stay locked in on the batter with 2 down. Panaro count in his favor. Check swing. He went. Strike 1 on the count to Carmen. Panaro has also pitched here at George Taylor Field. That happened back on June 7th. He's made a couple more pitching appearances since, but back in the batting order. Over his head for ball 3. A walk here would put 2 ducks on the pond for Chris Gazaldo. Gazaldo hitless today, but has a walk and certainly a capable hitter. The 3-1 pitch. Way out for ball 4. Panaro with a monster flip of his bat and takes first base on the walk. So it's passed on second, Panaro on first, Chris Gazaldo up next. On the mound first between Rutherford and Granger. Berger. And it will be Chris Gazaldo with the chance to knock in the first runs of the day for the Americans, would put his RBI total into double digits. For the outside for ball 1. Walk here would load the bases for Logan Stickler, but Stickler 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. So Gazaldo ideally going to take care of things himself and make some contact in fair territory for the first time today. Ball on the count though. And this one gets away from the catcher again. Granger, however, is going to gun out the runner at second base. Carmen Panaro's out. He's frustrated. Inning over. Game over. Win the game 8-0. But we'll be back right here for game 2 in just about an hour. Ironbacks and Americans facing off in this doubleheader. We'll hope that the technical difficulties are resolved by then. But for now, thank you so much for tuning in to the broadcast. Final score in this one, Ironbacks 8, Americans 0. We'll see you for game 2